So when people say this isn't America's war, the question in response should be, then whose war is it? At some point, the argument that this is not our fight collapses under the weight of a 47-year record. Because once you lay out the chronology year by year, decade by decade, what emerges here is not a misunderstanding, but a sustained campaign against the United States and a regime that has never abandoned its core ideological objective to destroy America. 1979, after a violent coup to overthrow the Shah, Islamic revolutionaries seized the U.S. Embassy in Tehran and took 52 American diplomats hostage for 444 days. This wasn't rogue behavior for the regime. It was foundational behavior for their ideology. Then comes the 1980s. In 1983, the U.S. Embassy in Beirut was bombed. Later that year, the Marine barracks were bombed. Both attacks carried out by the Islamic regime created and funded terror group Hezbollah. And this is where the proxy architecture begins to take permanent shape. Now, fast forward to the 1990s. In 1996, the Khobar Towers bombing in Saudi Arabia killed 19 American servicemen. A U.S. federal court later found the Islamic Republic of Iran responsible. And then comes Iraq. After 2003, as U.S. forces were operating in Iraq, Islamic regime-backed militias introduced new roadside bombs, IEDs, that U.S. officials confirmed were supplied or facilitated by the regime in Iran. Now move forward to 2011. The U.S. Department of Justice charged individuals in a plot to assassinate the Saudi ambassador in Washington, D.C., in a scheme tied to elements of the IRGC. All on U.S. soil. In 2020, the regime launched ballistic missiles at U.S. forces in the Al-Assad air base in Iraq. For years, the debate was supposedly over whether the regime was pursuing weapons capability or merely civilian nuclear infrastructure. Meanwhile, senior U.S. officials, including Secretary of State Marco Rubio, have publicly stated that the regime is developing intercontinental ballistic missile capabilities and rebuilding their nuclear program efforts, which the U.S. targeted in June last year. But finally, let's consider the financial architecture here. The regime has funneled billions of dollars to Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis as their own currency is in free fall and they can't provide the bare minimum in a resource-rich country. Instead of prioritizing the Iranian people or even mutually beneficial trade agreements, they use sanctions evasion networks to secure assets abroad exclusively for regime insiders. Their proxies, no different. Hezbollah's financial networks have operated in Latin America and even in the Western Hemisphere, engaging in documented criminal finance schemes to fund operations that can threaten the United States directly.